Hello everyone, welcome to this video, welcome to my channel. My name is Brenda Campbell and I'm an artist and a certified Zentangle teacher. Today is Mindful Monday. On Mindful Mondays, I guide you through the 8 steps of the Zentangle Method of drawing. It is a meditative art form. We're not concerning ourselves with the outcome, so we allow ourselves to be surprised and simply focus on each stroke, each mark as we draw it. It calms us down, it gives us a little bit of zen, but it brings us into the moment, and that is being mindful. Being in the moment, knowing what's happening right now and only focusing on that. So hopefully you've got some paper and a pen and you can draw along with me. I'm going to be drawing on a 3.5-inch Zentangle tile. It is the standard basic square tile. I am also going to use a PN pen. PN stands for plastic nib, and that just means that I shouldn't be able to break it like I might with an 01. But today I'm going to be adding some drama. I'm going to be making some solid black squares, and so I want to use my PN so that I can get a wider line and fill in those spaces a little quicker. So I'm going to go right into step 1, and I'm going to use a little breathing exercise to help bring us into the moment. So get yourself comfortable. If you're able, you can close your eyes. Sit up straight and be alert. And what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 deep breaths to begin. As you breathe in, I want you to get tall, stretch your spine, reach for the ceiling, as if you have a little string in the top of your head and you're going to pull it tight. And as you exhale, just let everything drop. Relax your face and your shoulders and just let everything go. So let's go right ahead and begin our first deep breath. Breathing in, getting tall, and breathing out, and just relaxing. And again. And out. Let your face relax and drop your shoulders. And one final big breath in. And out. Now just let your breath fall into a natural rhythm, following it as you breathe in and out. And just try to relax and focus on your breath. Now take a moment and think about something that you're grateful for. And once you have that thing, hold on to it and feel into that gratitude. How does that make you feel? Keep breathing. And as we draw today, I want you to bring this feeling into your practice. If you reach a point where you feel like you're going a little too fast, just stop. Take a deep breath. Recenter yourself, and then move on. And is the end of step 1. I know I feel better. I hope you do as well. So today, we're going to use 3 tangles. We're going to use enzeppel, fescue, and jonquil. And I'm going to set these aside for now. And I'm going to keep my pencil. And we're going to move on to step 2. Step 2 is to draw or put a dot in each of the 4 corners. Step 3 is to connect those dots to create a border. Step 4 is a string, and the string is something that breaks up the space inside of our border and gives us a place to put our tangles. Now I'm going to go right ahead, and I have not pre-planned this string, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw it kind of quickly and see what happens. That's kind of a strange string, but like I said, I just want to draw it quickly and see what happens. So I'm now going to pick up my PN pen, and we are going to begin with the tangle enzeppel. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put enzeppel. I guess I'm going to put it, let's put it in this section right here. So because it's a grid, I'm going to go ahead and begin with the grid lines, and I'm going to draw them diagonally. And I'm going to come over here and go the opposite direction. Okay, so now we have our basic square grid, but enzeppel goes a little bit farther. And we are going to put some more lines in our enzeppel. Putting a line across the center of each one of our squares. Now, when you do this, you want to think of them individually, in case they don't line up perfectly. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to do this one, stop, and then I'm going to do this one. Okay, now I'm going to turn it and do the other direction. And here we go. This will be a better way to show you the individual use here. So, one stop, one stop. Now that we have our grid, we are going to take each one of these spaces inside this grid. They're all triangles unless they're on the edges going behind something. We're going to retrace that triangle, but we're going to round the corners. Now I like to begin not at the corner, but a little below the corner, and then round it, round it, round it, and bring it back. Let's do this one next to it, round it. And you're just going to go all the way around this space, and you're going to fill in each one of these. Now when you get to a space where it goes behind something, you can choose to have your other lines go behind like this, or you could fill them in, but I'm going to leave mine open as if they're going behind. when we get the whole thing done, it truly doesn't matter which way you choose to do it, because it's a pattern. And remember, our eyes trick us into seeing the pattern and not the individual lines, which means that even if you don't like it or it isn't what you had planned, you will still be able to finish it without fear, because in the end you won't even find that. I have learned over the years that if I try to play with it to make it look better, I only make it worse. So I really have embraced the concept of trusting the process. There really are no mistakes. And that doesn't mean we don't necessarily draw lines we don't like. It just means that we don't worry about it. We find a way to overcome it. Lots of times we will incorporate it into our drawing, and there have been a lot of tangles that have been deconstructed because someone was trying to do a different tangle and ended up creating something new. So we like to think of them simply as opportunities. No mistakes. Almost done with this section. Okay, I'm pretty sure I got them all. So that is our insepal. The next pattern we're going to draw is jonquil. Jonquil is also a grid pattern, but it's a little funny the way that we do the grid for this one. It's like a checkerboard grid, but with a twist. So we're going to put jonquil. I think I'm going to put jonquil in two sections here. This one to the top and this one to the bottom of the insepal that I just did. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start it. It starts with a kind of like a rounded diagonal line. Well, that's how I'm drawing it. And again, we're making a grid. Okay, now we start it like that, but then instead of crossing square over, we are going to do like a zigzaggy line. Okay, so we've got our grid lines in there. Now we are going to fill it in every other space with black, solid black. And remember, the trick to making sure you're always making the right ones, every other one, is to make sure they touch at the corner. And then you know you have the right one. So this one touches at the corner here. The jonquil is a drama tangle as well. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know I enjoy my drama. So I like to add it, especially with something finer and delicate like Zentangle that we just drew, because it gives us a really nice contrast. We've got these big, bold, solid squares of black up against these small, delicate little patterns in our Zentangle. So you have two different types of contrast. Contrast comes in all types, all different types of things. It can be round against square, or straight, round lines against straight lines. It can be dark against light. So there's all kinds of ways to find contrast for your tiles. Sometimes if I press too hard, then I stop the ink from flowing. I think that might be what was happening. Okay, so there is jonquil in that space. Now I'm going to flip this around and do the same thing over here. This time, I think I'm going to ignore this loopy thing in my string, and I am just going to draw right over that line for my first grid section. There we go. Okay. Okay, let me see, how do we want to do this? I think I'm going to start with this little tiny space there and work my way from that point. You can start in any space as long as you just remember that you're doing every other space, every other square, or whatever shape these are. They're not exactly square, but now I think I might go ahead and skip ahead, because you watched me draw, or you watched me fill in all of the solid black spaces in that other section of jonquil. So I think now I'm going to go ahead and let you guys pause the video, take your time, and draw all of your jonquil and add all of your solid black. Take your time, remember, taking time for ourselves, being mindful, not worried about what's happening next. If you have an appointment, just set a timer, and then don't worry about anything until the timer goes off. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working, but I'm going to pause the video. And when you're done, go ahead and unpause it, and then we will be ready for the next tangle. So pause now. All right, I am back. I've got all of my jonquil black squares all filled in, and we have one tangle left to draw, and that is our fescue. Now I chose these 3 tangles to go together because there is a little bit of drama in these tangles and a little bit of contrast between them. So these are both grid tangles, even though they're very different types of grids. Fescue is an organic tangle that we are going to use to put in this little section down here. So I'm going to begin, I'm going to do mine with a little bit of wobble in my line. And I'm going to go ahead and leave a little sparkle. Nah, change my mind. No sparkle. Okay, so here we go. Now, whenever I'm drawing a tangle that has a straight line that goes behind, I always leave a little space there, and that will give the illusion that it is behind. Otherwise, if you just cross over, you don't know which one's behind. Not that it matters. Now, I'm wobbling these lines. I'm making these lines shaky on purpose to give it some more contrast between all of the nice straight lines of the other tangles that we drew today. Oh, I think that might be good enough. So I'm going to be done with my tangles now. That was step 5. I'm going to put my pen away. I'm going to pick up my pencil. We're moving on to step 6, which is shading. Now I'm going to start with an end sepal, and I'm going to do a very simple shading here. I am going to put a little graphite into each one of these corner sections where they all the little overdrawn sections meet. Oh. And then I guess I'll put some in the other sections on the lines between. Did I get them all? Maybe. Okay, picking up my tortillon to blend, and very lightly with the side of my tortillon, and while I blend out these graphite sections here. So that's all I'm going to do, I think, right now for Zentangle. Maybe I'll do the lines in between. By that I mean we've got this big section and then a little section. So the lines between the big section with the little section there, we'll go ahead and just kind of blend out those lines. And what that will do, hopefully, is give us some definition of smaller spaces in between all these bigger spaces. I think that works. I like it. Okay, so get my pencil back out. We're going to go to jonquil now. Now, jonquil is a dimensional pattern, the way it's drawn. So it almost looks like here's a step and then you come down and then there's another step here. So this area here would be shaded, I guess. So everything in this row gets shaded, then everything in this row gets shaded. So we'll go around to the other side, do the same thing. This row gets shaded, and this row gets shaded. Picking up my tortillon, and we're just going to go ahead and blend those out. Trying not to get any on the black, because that only makes the black lighter, not darker. Go over here and we'll do this one. Okay, that's all there is to shading jonquil. Now fescue, you can shade this a lot of different ways. You can simply put a little bit more graphite on your string line, if they're coming off of a string line. And just put, and then you can just put a little graphite there. And that just kind of grounds it for you. But something else you could do if you wanted is to put like a little dot underneath each one of these. And then you just kind of attach it at some point. And I'm not adding graphite, by the way. I'm just using what's on my tortillon, because there's always plenty. And that is all I need to do for fescue. Now I'm going to pick my pen back up for step 7, because we're finished with shading. Step 6. Step 7 is to do an initial and a sign on the back. I'm going to use my chop, my artist chop, instead of an initial. And I am, where do I want to put it? I like to kind of turn my tile around and see what everything looks like. I think I'm going to go ahead and put it right here, because that's kind of a strange looking space anyway. And I'll just make mine a little smaller today. So there's my initial, my chop on the front. On the back, I'm going to sign it. I'm going to date it, but not right now. And I'm going to name our tangles. So we did N sepal. And we did jonquil. And we did fescue. Those were our 3 tangles today. Step 8 is just to look at your tile and appreciate what you've done. I think it looks pretty cool. I don't know what you think. We could have done a little more shading if you wanted, but I just didn't think it was necessary. So that is all there is. I hope you drew along. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to have you back here for another Mindful Monday video. But until then, be you and be happy.